What's going on, everybody? It's your favorite Daddy Hunter Jay here. Kids are asleep, so it'll be just me this vid. We'll make it a discussion piece. We'll just talk about these Apex monsters here in Monster Hunter Rise. If you love having discussions about the game, about the series in general, be sure to drop the comments down below. I'll reply to every comment in this vid. And give me a like and a subscribe so people see this video and they too can join in on the conversation. But without further ado, let's get back to the topic. The Apex monsters in Monster Hunter Rise. Alright, so the Apex monsters in Monster Hunter Rise, I actually really like this concept and I really like these hunts. Alright, let me say something positive before I start, going into some of the negatives I feel that come with Apex monsters. So yeah, the fights are fun, they're a decent challenge and they're very enjoyable, right? It has a like an old school Elder Dragon type feel, right? Traps don't work, there's no wyvern riding, it's just you, the monster, and your skills. And yeah, they hit very hard, they got special properties that make them different from their usual counterparts. So they're a ton of fun to fight, okay? So I don't have a problem with the actual battle that you do against the Apex monsters. It's chef's kiss. So I've already established that I enjoy actually fighting these Apex monsters, right? But my biggest problem is I don't really have a reason to fight these things, right? They all drop like one special drop, right? They're not like the usual monster, right? Where you could have a tail, a horn break piece come off, or a piece of the wing, or a claw, right? They just have one special Apex monster piece, right? So that in and of itself is kind of weird. Like, oh, if you fight an Apex monster, you're gonna get an Apex shock shell, you're gonna get an Apex blaze sack, and that's all you get. Everything else is just, Rathalos parts or Zenogre parts or Mizutsune parts, right? You get, Apex bubble foam. It's just that one item is all you get, okay? And then you use those items for rampage skills and customizing your rampage weapons, which is cool. I do like that. But after you've done enough of these hunts, you hunt them solo, you hunt them in rampages, you're gonna have a plethora of parts just kind of sitting around and doing nothing unless you toss them into the melder and you are hoping for that one god charm, which I still ain't got all my charms, but whatever, that's neither here nor there. That's the RNG beast that this game is. So no reason to hunt them, and they don't have many drops. So not having many drops isn't a problem. One of the solutions that I kind of came up with to this problem where like we don't have a reason to hunt them is we have rampage weapons, right? Like every weapon has a rampage weapon. Why isn't there a rampage suit of armor, right? And with this rampage suit of armor, maybe it's just a hypothetical, something I came up with, I don't know. Maybe we can use the Apex parts to upgrade it, like instead of armor spheres upgrading it, we can use the Apex parts to upgrade, right? And maybe have it based on, what Apex parts you use is what kind of customizability you'll be able to get out of the weapon, right? Or maybe it'll open up X amount of rampage slots where you can use more Apex monster parts to customize the our suit of armor even further, right? And you can customize each piece like we do a weapon. Like, I think that would be great, and I have confidence in Capcom's ability to balance this sort of thing really well, and it would give us a great reason to go out there and hunt these monsters over and over again, because then hypothetically you can build the set of armor a bunch of times and just have them customized for each weapon type, So imagine maybe a rampage skill that has something to do with quick sheath. You're gonna want that on a longsword. Or maybe a rampage skill that gives you extra points in slugger. You're gonna want that in your blunt weapon builds like your hammer or your hunting horn. So you could make the same piece of armor but customize it in different ways. So you would have a whole lot of reason suddenly to hunt these monsters, because then you can make the same armor, quote unquote, but different for each of your weapon builds if you are a multi-weapon specialist or something like that. Just some food for thought, like a quick little idea I came up with that would give us another reason to hunt these monsters. So to talk a little bit more about my hypothetical Apex armor idea, or Rampage armor idea, if you look at the Apex monsters that we currently have in the game, they're set up on sort of tiers, right? Apex Arzuros is like the lowest tier. He's like the tutorial Apex monster, like, hey, this is how Apex monsters work, right? And then you have Apex Rathian and Apex Mizutsune, right, which are kind of in the same tier. And then you have Apex Rathalos and Apex Diablos, which are in the same tier, those two. And then you have Apex Zenogre at the tip top, right? And maybe we can use these tiers to kind of help with balance in these hypothetical Rampage armors, where like you make the armor and then you use the Arzuros parts to upgrade it the first time, and then from there you choose a fork in the road, right, where you can upgrade Apex Rathian, and then that leads to Apex Rathalos, which will afford you different Rampage skills than if you were to choose Apex Mizutsune and then eventually go to Apex Diablos. That way we're not all wearing the same suit of armor with the same skills, right? Where you have to make a big decision about which direction you want to take your Rampage armor, right? And then of course at the tip top we'd all end up using Apex Zenogre. But that leads me to my next point. That point is, why are there only 6 Apex monsters in this game, right? Like leading up to the marketing of this thing, it seemed like Apex monsters were going to be a bigger deal and there were going to be more of them in this game, and then we end up with only 6, right? Which I get it, you know, game development is hard, right? Like armchair dev here, oh, just put in more monsters. Like I get it, it's not an easy task, but I would really like more Apex monsters in this game. And they're all kind of modeled after deviants from the days of the past. And why aren't there any like Elder Dragon Apexes? What makes a monster become Apex? Because this is a different Apex than the Gore Magala treatment of Monster Hunter 4U, right? So this kind of took me to 2 different ideas, right? Maybe we can revive, like, I don't know, a rusted Kushala, right, and repurpose it into being an Apex Elder Dragon, right? And you can have it do some of the stuff that Rusted used to do, change the look, maybe have Hellfire Blight tornadoes going all over the place. It'd be sick, right? And then also the lore aspect, like what makes a monster become Apex? Like what's going on with, like, why do these monsters exist, right? Usually Monster Hunter has, you know, great lore, and yeah, there's a reason for everything. So my thing is, why don't we have like an Apex Magnamalo, right? So a brand new Apex monster, because Magnamalo doesn't have any variants or deviants or subspecies or anything like that yet. He's a brand new monster. He's a flagship. So make an Apex Magnamalo, right? And maybe have his flame glow like white or something. And of course he's going to inflict Hellfire Blight. That's his status. But maybe there's a new status that he has where he gets so white hot that he burns away one of your wire bugs, right? So now you really have to think hard about how you're going to use that one wire bug and make it like a duration, you know, like how when you pick up a wire bug, you get that 3rd wire bug for a while. Maybe the flames get white hot, and if you get hit with a specific attack, your wire bug disappears for a while, right? Maybe something like that could happen. Or maybe we can have an Apex Chameleos that has the ability to inflict more than just poison. Maybe he can make you fall asleep, maybe he can stun you, maybe he can flash you, maybe he can still poison you, and he inflicts Hellfire Blight, because, you know, that's what Apexes do, they all inflict Hellfire Blight. We can maybe have a Marlboro from the Final Fantasy franchise of our own in Apex Chameleos, and, you know, really make you prepare for the fight. You got to bring your antidotes and your energy drinks, and, you know, really look out for your teammates because they're getting stunned. I think it'd be a pain in the ass, but it'd be a fun pain in the ass, and I think I'd really enjoy such a fight, and it would give us a new tier of Apex monsters to fight for my hypothetical, you know, Rampage armor idea, right? Maybe one path takes you to Apex Chameleos, and the other path takes you to Apex Kushala, and then we all meet at the top with Apex Magnamalo, but each different branching path gives you different Rampage skills to load onto your armor. Make sense? So yeah, Apex monsters in Monster Hunter Rise. Tell me what you think in the comments down below about my Rampage armor idea. Do you think I'm crazy for not you know, being super hype about the way Apex monsters were implemented in this game. Tell me about your experiences with the Apex monsters we currently have. Yeah, that's just my thoughts and feelings about the Apex monsters. I don't know, I had so many ideas in my head about how this system and how these monsters could be improved in the way they're integrated in the game, and I felt like I should just put this out there and hear what the community has to say about it. Yeah, but as usual, Daddy Hunter out, and happy hunting. Peace.